Yo guys, what's going on? My name's Techno, otherwise known as Techno Strike, and today I'm going to be here with the Week 3 CPC weekly recap. Uh, I would usually have my co-host Shami with me, but unfortunately he is not with me today. But you know what happens, and we can uh, just try to record this without him. He'll be back next week, most likely. And if you can't already tell, I'm a bit sick, so I apologize if my commentary is a little bit rusty. But, without further ado, let's just get right into the battles. So, yeah, sorry about that. So, we had some pretty interesting battles this week. We had battles that were very close, and then there were battles that were pretty far apart. So, without further ado, let's just get right into it. So the first battle that we're going to have is the Mauville Mighty versus the Manhattan Mudkips. So the Mauville Mighty bring a team of Pangoro, Porygon 2, Altaria, Nidoqueen, Jolteon, and Behem coming for its second time this season. Much hype for Behem. So the Manhattan Mudkips bring a team of Bisharp, Sharpedo, Mega Gallade, Tyrantrum, Volcanion, and Thundurus Therian. So without further ado, let's just hop right into the battle. So the Mauville Mightyana's are going to lead off with Jolteon, as the Greenland Groviles are going to lead off with their Volcanion. So right off the bat, this is not a very good matchup for the Greenland Grovile. For the Greenland, I said the Greenland. They're the Manhattan Mudkips. It just got confusing with the showdown names, but not wanting to risk a Scarf Volcanion, I guess. The Mauville Mightyana's are going to go right out into their Porygon 2, which is a very nice response to the Volcanion, as the Manhattan Mudkips are going to pull a switch right out into their Thundurus as no, their Tyrantrum, but they're going to go out into their Thundurus on the Porygon eventually. So Porygon is going to be able to take a hit from Volcanion fairly easily with the Eviolite. Porygon's just a very bulky Pokemon, and the Gallade is going to come in. Now the Gallade is an immediate threat, and this is where Behem is able to come in. Now Behem is shown to be kind of the response to the Gallade, firing off an analytic Psyshock after the Cloberberry pops. And unfortunately, it's not very much, as the Gallade had set up a bulk up, and it's not able to knock out the Gallade with another Psyshock from the analytic Psyshock. So, unfortunate, but he's able to come in with Jolteon and Revenge Kill easily. So, Volcanion's going to come in as the Jolteon is going to go right for Volt Switch, as it has been revealed that the Volcanion is definitely Specs. So now it's going to go for Steam Eruption, as the Porygon 2 is going to trace the Water Absorb, which is very nice for the Mauville Mightyana's. Now, Tyrantrum is going to come in and fire off what seems to be a Scarf Head Smash, and then just die to the Porygon 2's Ice Beam. Really nice for the Mauville Mightyana's here. Now, Hidden Power Fighting or Ground is going to come off here against the it's definitely fighting. It's going to come off here against the Bisharp, doing huge damage to it. And Pangoro was able to come in and basically he doesn't have any switch-ins to the Pangoro anymore. So the Pangoro is an immediate threat, and Jolteon is able to come in, and Jolteon is able to skillfully dodge a Focus Blast, which it's Focus Blast. It gets dodged a lot, but that's just how it is. So Sharpedo is going to come in, start to protect up, fire off a Scald. Interesting set with Scald, I would say. Pangoro is going to come back in. It takes any hit from the Sharpedo, even a crit Scald. So Drain Punch comes off as its Focus Sash, but the Drain Punch is able to put it back in a range where it's not going to be able to die from Scald, except he gets another crit on the Pangoro, which was pretty funny actually, just because of how many crits he was able to get on the Pangoro, which, I don't know, it just humored me. So, Volcanion's going to come back in, and it's not going to be able to outspeed the Altaria, and that's going to be a nice 2-0 win for the Mauville Mightyana's. So, very good game, guys. And without further ado, the next game is going to be the Golden State War Turtles versus the Arizona Dactyls. Now, the Golden State War Turtles bring a team of Scizor, Goodra, Galvantula, Golem, Staraptor, and Clefable, while the Arizona Dactyls bring a team of Landorus Incarnate, Braviary, Magnezone, Diancie, Azelf, and Vaporeon. So this is going to be a very interesting matchup. Diancie plus Magnezone, very nice offensive core, does very well versus the Golden State War Turtles team. So we're just going to get right into it. So Golden State War Turtles are going to lead off with their Scizor, as the Arizona Dactyls lead off with Diancie right off the bat. Very bad matchup. So they're going to be able to bullet punch away, which, very safe play, not really predicting or anything. So they're just going to fire off a U-turn on the Vaporeon, which is actually faster than the Scizor, which reveals that it's maybe not a max speed Scizor. So the Galvantula is able to come in and it's able to start getting momentum with the Volt Switch and the Thunderbolt, and then coming back into the Gudra. Gudra, very nice response to the Magnezone in general. And the Fire Blast is going to come off, and the Magnezone sub is popped. Sub Charge Beam, very interesting set. I would assume it's Sub Charge Beam, just based on the fact that Sub Charge Beam is a very nice set to run in general. So Hidden Power Steel is going to come off on the Gudra as the Diancie is able to get up rocks, and the Diancie is down, which is unfortunate, but it can be bounced back upon. So bulk up is going to come with the Braviary as it's a sub bulk up set, and the Stone Edge is going to be able to break the sub because Golem is a very nice Pokemon. Not really, but as he's going to hard switch into Vaporeon. Vaporeon takes the hit very nicely, and Gudra is just able to come right back in. But Vaporeon is able to get up a Wish and then a Protect following right after, and that's going to be very nice for the Arizona Dactyls. So Dactyls are going to get that Wish off as the Golden State Wartortles actually overpredict the Magnezone and click Fire Blast twice, actually. Interesting plays from the Golden State Wartortles. I'm not really understanding why they did that, but it kind of makes sense. Not really, but so Ice Beam's gonna come off, and Vaporeon's gonna take a big Thunderbolt, which is not what it wanted to take, but it's able to kill the Galvantula. It's gonna be very nice for him. And the Staraptor, which is a very big threat to his team, which kind of just gets a kill every time it comes in, essentially. Especially now that it comes in on this Vaporeon, and it outspeeds the Vaporeon, and now everything kind of just dies to it. And Vaporeon goes down. So, the Magnezone is able to come back in, and Gudra takes its hits like it's nothing. Fire Blast is able to come off, but it's not going to do too much to the Braviary. Now Golem's going to come back in, but Golem is not going to be able to do much to the Landorus, which is able to come in, and then Earth Power is going to come off as the Golden State Wartortles actually go right back into Staraptor, able to kill the Braviary, which is very nice for them because Braviary is a massive threat, and it's able to live on 1 HP. Now, Double Edge is going to come off, and the Magnezone is just going to barely live while it's able to fire off a Flash Cannon, which isn't going to really do much in the grand scheme of this match. Charge Beam's going to come off, as I said earlier, and then Knockoff comes off on the Magnezone, and Scizor is able to kill off the Magnezone. Now Azelf going to come in, click Fire Blast, and this is a bad situation because the Clefable is actually not going to be a Thunder Wave set as it looks. It's going to be a Calm Mind Moonblast set, and the Azelf is able to get up a Nasty Plot. Big turning point in the game because Azelf is basically able to sweep through the rest of the team. Very clever Water Pulse to deal with the Golem. Water Pulse able to come through, and Psyshock able to kill off the Gudra, and that is a very good game. So 2-0 in the Arizona Dactyls' favor. Good game. Very I don't know how to explain it, but there was no constant momentum on one side. It was very balanced. But yeah, very balanced game. And the Arizona Dactyls are able to walk away with a Nasty Plot Azelf sweep. So the next battle that we have is going to be the Connecticut Crocodiles versus the San Antonio Sparse. Now, the Connecticut Crocodiles bring a team of Excelgor, Donphan, Chansey, Ferrothorn, Weezing, and Charizard X, as the San Antonio Sparse are going to bring a team of Cresselia, Skarmory, Megalopony, Gastrodon, Umbreon, and Electros. Very fat teams on both sides. You already know this is going to be a long one. So the Donphan is able to lead off against the Megalopony, which is just going to fire off a high jump kick turn 1, which does huge damage to the Donphan. Much too many people surprised just because of how much the Donphan is usually going to be able to take hits. Return able to do so much to the Weezing as well, as the Umbreon is going to come in, kind of giving off a free Will-O-Wisp, but the Will-O-Wisp comes back as a synchronized burn, which is nice, I guess. Not really the best, but it still works. So toxic spikes are going to come up, which is very interesting, having Will-O-Wisp and toxic spikes, as the Defog Skarmory is just able to get rid of all of them, and then toxic spikes are going to come back up. So not really any, it wasn't really worth it to get up the toxic spikes again, but the Weezing is just going to be able to stay in on the Skarmory as it gets up its rocks, and the rocks are going to be very important for this game now that Charizard is on the field. And as long as the Donphan is not in a position to spin them away, there's not really much that the San Antonio Spurs can do to the Donphan. But speaking of which, the Chansey is able to pass a wish to the Donphan, and Donphan gets back up to full health. Now, this is the part where it gets really stally because Cresselia is able to start clicking Calm Mind, which is a very big part of the battle, and Cresselia is able to paralyze, it's able to get paralyzed and then flinch down by the Donphan, but it reveals the rest, and the rest is huge because the rest is just able to get off so much off on the rest of his team, and it's looking here that Cresselia might be able to put in massive amounts of work as long as this Ferrothorn does not actually have Leech Seed, and it does not have Leech Seed. It reveals that it has Knockoff, and it goes right back for the rest. As the Gyro Ball is going to come out, it does 31%, revealing that he's like a mint speed Ferrothorn, but he's able to get a crit on the Cresselia, and the crit really big because the crit means that the Cresselia cannot take another Gyro Ball, so it's forced to switch out, and that's really big for the Connecticut Crocodiles because that big threat with the Calm Minds is now forced out, and that's huge. Now, the San Antonio Spurs make a big misplay and go back into Cresselia when Cresselia was obviously going to die to the Gyro Ball, trying to get a wish off to it. Greedy Wish does not work for them at all. The Cresselia is able to go down, and that's the biggest threat to the Connecticut Crocodiles team. As the Weezing is going to come back in, he sacks the Weezing to the Mega Lopunny because that's overall his best play. The Excelgor is going to come in and fire off a Focus Blast. Does big damage to anything that wants to come in and take it, which nothing really does, just based on what the Focus Blast is able to do, except for the Excelgor. The Electros. The Electros is able to take it very well. Goes for a Super Fang here on the Ferrothorn. Very interesting when he could have just gone for the Flamethrower, but maybe it was predicting a switch into the Donphan or even the Charizard, as the Charizard is able to come in now and click Dragon Dance, but he reveals the Dragon Tail on the he reveals Dragon Tail on the Electros. I keep forgetting what it's called, but the Mega Lopunny is able to come back in, fire off a Fake Out as he goes into the Donphan. Donphan, able to wall the Mega Lopunny decently. Of course, the high jump kick still does a lot to it, as well as even the return. It does over half, but it's able to check it for now, as long as it comes in on the right attacks, like Fake Out. And if it comes in on Fake Outs, that's going to be big. So the Skarmory is able to go down because of a very nice prediction on Joey's part, because of the what the San Antonio Sprouts likely predicted was for him to predict a Roost and click Earthquake, which is not what happens. What happens is he clicks Rock Slide again, but the Gastrodon is able to come in, and the Donphan is able to get off a crit EQ, which does a lot to the Gastrodon, and Donphan is finally down. Now, the Charizard is going to come back in, and Charizard just essentially is able to put in massive work on the rest of his team, just because everything is weakened, and this is obviously defensive Charizard, because that Mega Lopunny did nothing to it with the return. Like, nothing at all. High Jump Kick, 41%. This is definitely defensive Dragon Dance Charizard. So, the Charizard is able to set up a Dragon Dance, and the game is essentially over, just because everything is in a position where it's going to die to this Charizard, and that is a very good game. A bit hacksy, but I don't feel like the hacks matter too much. The crits definitely were kind of big, and the flinches could have been big as well. But it all kind of like doesn't matter because the Charizard is kind of like a win con just in the back, just the whole game, and it's very nice. So, very nice 2-0. I believe that is our third 2-0 of the day. So, that's pretty nice, I guess. But the next battle we have is going to be the Detroit Butterfrees versus the Arizona Carvanas. Now, The Detroit Butterfrees, and excuse me, I'm just going to fix my positioning. The Detroit Butterfrees bring a team of Landorus Therian, Mismagius, Azumarill, Mammothswine, Hitmonlee, and Mega Houndoom. While the Arizona Carvanas bring a team of Hariyama, Zapdos, Mega Blastoise, Lucario, Victini, and Crocodile. Now, I'm just going to get right into the battle now. There's a lead Mismagius versus Blastoise, as Mismagius just fires off a Shadow Ball, as the Blastoise is able to get off a Dark Pulse, but the Mismagius is actually Cobra Berry, most likely for the Crocodile, or even the, uh, the Lucario. Now, Azumarill is a switch into the Blastoise, but he's going to reveal a hidden power. That could be any hidden power. I have no clue which one it is. Could be electric, grass, poison, any of them. Anything works. But Blastoise is able to go down, but it also gets the Azumarill out of the way. So pretty fair trade on both sides. Now the Crocodile is able to come in and knock off the Rocky Helmet from the Landorus, which could be pretty important later on in the battle, as the Zapdos is going to come in as the Detroit Butterfrees are able to get up their rocks, as Zapdos goes for a Toxic, predicting the Mammothswine switch in most likely. As now a big prediction in the battle happens, and the Hariyama is able to come in on the Mammothswine, predicting a Thick Fat, which would be predicting an Icicle Crash, which would be blocked out by Thick Fat for the most part. And then the Mammothswine is able to go for the Earthquake. So a very big prediction, very nice play on the Detroit Butterfree's part. Now, Victini is able to come in and click Blue Flare as it gets its leftovers recovery, revealing that it might be a more defensive Victini. Now, the best switching that the Arizona Carvanas have for this Mismagius is going to be the Crocodile, but unfortunately, he's able to go for a sub, get big damage off with the Dazzling Gleam, and this puts him in range of 2 more rock switch-ins, which is very unfortunate because he's going to need to keep bringing this thing in. If he wants any chance of winning this battle, he needs to get chip damage off on the Landorus, and that's going to be a big part of the battle. Hitmonlee is going to come in, and Volt Switch is going to come off, and the Victini is able to come back in, it gets off a high jump kick, but the Victini is able to live, most likely a very bulky Victini, just with the leftovers and all of that. Blue Flare is able to come off as Mismagius comes back in, fires off a Shadow Ball, and Victini is dead. Now Zapdos comes in, and he's able to click Volt Switch, which it might seem like a misplay, but it's actually probably his best play in this situation. He can't let the Crocodile come in on rocks, and then the Lucario at this moment is definitely the win condition. Going to be nice for him. Now, now the Landorus comes in as he's going to reveal Air Balloon Lucario, most likely Swords Dance, Ice Punch, Close Combat, E-Speed. That's most likely a set, and the Lucario is able to fire off an E-Speed, and it does nothing to the Houndoom because this is a max HP, max defense Houndoom, and it's just able to clean up the game. Very good game. Yet another 2-0, so very interesting, but it's a very, very good game on both sides. Well played on both sides. The Detroit Butterfrees were just able to put the Arizona Carvanas in a position where they couldn't really do much. So, nice battle to see. And our next battle is going to be the Brisbane Breloom versus the Dewford Drapions. Now, the Brisbane Breloom bring a team of Florges, Rhyperior, Bronzong, Chandelure, Raikou, and Haxorus, as the Dewford Drapions bring a team of Mega Gardevoir, Nidoking, Latios, Milotic, Mandibuzz, and Blaziken. Now, I'm just going to get right into this. Turn 1, very interesting turn. Florges versus Nidoking. Nidoking is able to click Sludge Wave. Florges is dead. That was later revealed to be a Specs Florges. He overpredicts turn 1, which is a big misplay on his part, and that's going to cost him big time, essentially. Goes into Bronzong on a pretty obvious Mandibuzz switch, which is kind of interesting to me, as foul plays are just going to be spammed all over the place. Now, the main switch-in, I guess, to this, what's it called? The Raikou is going to be his Mega Gardevoir, but that's not a very good switch-in. Hyper Voice is going to come off, and then following up is going to be a Shadow Ball to the Bronzong. Gonna go back into Raikou, which kind of begs the question, why did he switch out in the first place? But to each their own. Maybe he forgot about the future sight, which came off from the Bronzong. Interesting prep on his part. And the Chandelure is going to come in with an air balloon on the Nidoking. So this means the Nidoking can't really touch it. Sludge is going to come off, and the Chandelure is going to miss a Fire Blast. That wouldn't have O-code, but that would have done big damage to this Nidoking, and we're going to see later on if this matters. Now, over-predicting yet again, the Brisbane Breloons go for a Swords Dance as the Nidoking goes for a Earth Power, getting big damage off on it, leaving it at 3%, and then the Mandibuzz is able to drop to the Dragon Claw crit from the Haxorus. So at this point, it's looking like the game is kind of over for the Brisbane Breloons. This Latios is a calm mindset, so most likely going to be able to put in lots of work from here, and then except for one thing, which is going to be a crit confusion on the Latios. Now that is going to matter quite a bit, but not too much, because Nidoking is able to take any hit from this Pokemon, kill with an Earth Power, and this is going to be a good game. Nice 3-0 win for the Dewford Drapion. So, first not 2-0, if I may say. So very nice to see that. And without further ado, we're going to get right into the next battle. Now, this battle was all over the place. We have the Florida Feraligators versus the St. Louis Reshiram. Now, Florida Feraligators bring a team of Cobalion, Audino, Tornadus Therian, Wobbuffet, Absol, and Garchomp. While the St. Louis Reshiram bring a team of Mawile, Weavile, Mega Medicham, Shiftry, Thunderous Therian. No, that's an incarnate form. I don't know what I'm saying. Thunderous Incarnate, and Whimsicott. So this is just all over the place. You're going to see right here. So Thunderous versus Tornadus lead, as the Thunderous sets up a nasty plot turn 1. So this is just a very offensive team. Taunt's going to come off, fires off a knockoff, gets rid of the leftovers on the Thunderous. Now, the Garchomp is able to come in and it's able to scare out with a potential Scarf Stone Edge, which he bluffed very nicely this game. It was not Scarf Stone Edge, but it was something else that you're going to see later on. So he goes into Weavile with the Swords Dance, Baton Pass, Mawile on the Cobalion, and the Florida Feraligators show off some of their prep here. Chople Berry on the Cobalion, just showing that low kick is going to be like the best way to hit the Cobalion, but he knows that, so he's going to bring Chople Berry. Now U-turn is going to come out on the Whimsicott here, predicting a switch kind of, and the Medicham is going to come back out, and at this point Medicham gets a kill, but it's with Power Up Punch. Very interesting. Now Medicham going to be forced out by this Tornadus, as the Tornadus is a big offensive threat to the Medicham. That should go without saying. I don't know what I'm saying, but this is a Heat Wave on the Sucker Punch. Doesn't really matter that much because Heat Wave's just able to kill the next turn. As Thunderous comes in, able to take any hit basically, and just fire off a Thunderbolt or even a Nasty Plot, which is what he actually goes for. So very ballsy play on his part. As Whimsicott's going to come back in, Whimsicott. Nice switch in here, just because Sucker Punch was easily predictable and he kind of knew what he was doing with that play. So the Whimsicott is now going to taunt the Wobbuffet as it's going to fire off a counter, which very interesting. Well, not really interesting because he knows he's going to U-turn here. Now he's just going to fire off another Mirror Coat. Now he's going to fire off a Mirror Coat, which incredibly interesting. Not really sure why he did that, but here Thunderous Therian. I keep saying Therian. Thunderous Incarnate fires off a Nasty Plot, as it's able to Hidden Power Ice the Garchomp, and that kills through the Yachi Berry, which reveals that that is a minus special defense nature. So he goes back into Whimsicott, and this time he's able to predict it with a knockoff from the Absol. Absol able to put in massive offensive work. But now this is where the battle gets kind of spicy. Now, predicting a Thunder Wave, he's going to go out into the Audino, right? Now, the Audino is something that the Metacham is able to deal with, right? But he's going to be a very interesting Metacham. So he's going to be Substitute Power Punch. Um, so that's going to essentially put the Florida Alligators in a position where they can essentially be swept by something, and he baton passes out into Shiftry. Shiftry is huge. Shiftry is able to put in so much offensive work on the rest of his team, and it's just really big against his team. Fire Blast gonna miss on the Absol, which is very unfortunate because that would have broken the sub, obviously. But I think all I needed to do was break the sub. And Air Slash is going to be able to now break the sub with the Tornadoes. Could have potentially still won with the Sucker Punch, but the Audino is going to be able to survive the +1 attack, and Audino is able to fire off a knockoff, just get rid of that. And that's going to be a very interesting game. So 3-0 for the St. Louis Russian Rams. Interesting game, I will say. But without further ado, next battle is going to be the Philadelphia Scissors and Chimpact versus the Atlanta Braveries. So the Philadelphia Scissors bring a team of Kofagrigus, Slowbro, Hippowdon, Excadrill, Charizard Y, and Rotom Heat. While the Atlanta Braveries bring a team of Mega Pidgeot, Starmie, Dugtrio, Talonflame, Celebi, and Klefki. So we're going to see how this battle is able to turn out. This was another whack battle. So he's going to lead off with Charizard versus the Starmie. Stay in. Very interesting play. Catches a Power Gem as he's just going to click Thunder Punch, which very nice, I guess. Kind of just getting off that damage. As now Chimpact is going to make an interesting series of plays. He's going to let everything basically get damaged by the Starmie. Kofagrigus finally comes in, which was kind of the initial switch in, but you know, Shadow Ball is going to come off, and Pidgeot's able to come back in. So Pidgeot's going to fire off a Hurricane, as it's now going to, I believe, click Hurricane again. That's kind of his best play, but no, he's going to click Hidden Power Rock, it seems. But the Hippowdon actually has an eject button, which means that this Excadrill is in a position where it can kind of just do massive amounts of work, but it needs to have this Hippowdon to be on the field. So gonna get up rocks, and rocks are very big just because Trev's team very weak to rocks in general. So rocks are just going to be able to put in a huge dent on his team, break a sash on the Dugtrio, any of the following or any of those. So that's not a Starmie. I don't know what I'm saying. The Klefki is going. That's not a Klefki either. That's a Celebi. Celebi. All right, Celebi is going to baton pass out into the Pidgeot now. Pidgeot is a big threat now, but he's able to get the Rotom out of the way with a Hurricane, and it was later revealed that he had Agility. If he Agility there, he potentially just won the game right there. So that's unfortunate for him, but Iron Head's going to come off, and at this point he's just going to have to sack something to this Excadrill. Excadrill just puts in a massive hurting on the rest of his team, as the Celebi is going to come in, as this is a very interesting series of plays. Now, Dragon Dance is going to come off on the Charizard, as now it's going to Thunder Punch, and this made almost no sense to me whatsoever, but to each their own. But the Hippo is going to come in, definitely the Talonflame response, if you will, and then Celebi is just going to come right in on the Hippo and catch the Rock Slide, which it doesn't do much at all, just because Celebi, pretty bulky Pokemon in general. As on the Combine, he's just going to go right into Excadrill, and now what's going to happen is Excadrill just kind of has fun versus his team. Starmie is going to come in, as Starmie can now click the as Excadrill can click the Earthquake, nothing really stopping him from doing so. The Sandstorm keeps raging. Earthquake's going to kill the Dugtrio. Sandstorm subsides, and the Starmie's going to come back in. Hippowdon can now be sacked. Very nice for Chimpact to have the Hippowdon sacked. And at this point, he's just kind of stalling out sand turns, which isn't going to work out very well for him just because of how much the sand kind of does to his team. And now Kofagrigus is just a sack here, as it's a very nice play on his part. Calm Mind's going to come off, and at this point, the game is essentially locked up for the the Philadelphia Scissors, because the Sandstorm's just going to be able to kill the rest of the Pokemon as well as rocks, and then Excadrill is just going to be able to come in, and that is going to be a good game. So nice and 3-0 victory for Chimpact and the Philadelphia Scissors, and we have our last game, which is the Emerald City Milotics versus the Sydney Sharpedos. So, Sydney Sharpedos bring a team of Scizor, Quagsire, Uniclus, Kieran Black, Drapion, and the god himself, Stunfisk, as the Emerald City Milotics bring a team of Mega Beedrill, Tyranitar, Stoutland, Ambipom, Ditto, and Glasgow, bringing some crisp normal spam with a Pursuit Trapper to kind of deal with that Uniclus, but he's looking kind of weak to the Scizor right off the bat. So Fake Out's going to come off as it takes Rocky Helmet damage on the Stunfisk, and that's how the game starts. Stealth Rock's going to come up as this immediately threatens out the Stunfisk, of course, because, you know, it should go without saying. But here, Ice Beam's going to come off, and that does almost nothing to the Tyranitar, like, at all. Very surprising, but Quagsire is the initial switch into the Tyranitar as an Earthquake, or no, Scald's just going to come off right here, probably attempting to get a burn or anything along those lines, and Scald's going to come off on the Reuniclus, as the Reuniclus does not take burn damage, revealing that it is, in fact, Magic Guard. So, Thunder Wave's going to come off, as the Hidden Power is going to also come off following that. And this Cobra Berry Reuniclus, critical hit is not going to do much to it at all with a Pursuit. Hidden Power is going to come back off, and it's resisted by the Gliscor, which could mean a bunch of different things. Could be Hidden Power Fighting, but it doesn't look like Hidden Power Fighting damage, but it very well could be. Just because Tyranitar is very bulky, and now he's just going for flinches, which, you know, it's respectable, I guess, not really. But Psychic is going to come off, and the Gliscor is going to be put in a position where it has to protect, otherwise it's just going to die. And this Reuniclus is putting a massive hurting on his team. Now Psychic's going to come off here, as the Reuniclus Ditto copy is going to be able to Psychic the Reuniclus, but then, you know, the Reuniclus. How many times can you say Reuniclus in one sentence? Like, just, that's how many times Reuniclus just does its thing. So, Reuniclus kind of comes out kind of like, I don't even know what I'm saying anymore. Anyway, so Tyranitar is just going to come in and die to the Hidden Power, still not revealed. Crunch to the Reuniclus is not going to do much, not even over half from the Stoutland, and then it's going to be able to switch out on the Stoutland into the Quagsire, so it doesn't really have much to deal with Quagsire at this point, and the best play is obviously just going to be going for, oh, never mind, he goes for knockoff here. Scald's going to come off, could get a burn, as he is able to get the burn, so the burn is going to be nice for Burn's going to be nice for the Emerald City Milotics. And Roost Beedrill is actually revealed here, which is very, very interesting. So now U-Turn is able to come off, and Ambipom comes back in as Stockpile is revealed. And Stockpile is a very interesting not Ambipom, Quagsire set. It definitely is able to put in work if it's like done at the right time. But Gypsy doesn't need for this to happen with the Ambipom. And at this point, the Gliscor comes in on the Scizor, and Scizor is looking like it's able to put in massive amounts of work at this point. Now, Reuniclus is going to come back in, as the Gliscor surprisingly does not protect on the Reuniclus, because Psychic just able to do the rest of the work to the Reuniclus. Now, the Beedrill is now in range of rocks, but Recover is just going to come off again, and now Knockoff's coming off, and then Psychic is going to be able to knock out the Beedrill, and this is going to secure a 6-0 victory for Gypsy and the Sydney Sharpedo. So that's the weekly recap, guys. I'm sorry that Shami wasn't here, and I'm sorry if I seemed a little bit like out of my comfort zone for commentary just because I'm feeling sick right now. But it's whatever. Hope you guys enjoyed. Leave your comments on what you thought was the best battle of the week in the not in the description. Like I said, I can't speak today, but in the comments below. So this has been Techno. Peace out, guys.